Hi Scorpios, and welcome to your reading for March 2019. My name is Melanie. This is a general reading for Sun, Moon and Rising sign Scorpios, so it may or may not resonate, being general in nature. I'm just going to dive right in. We have a 5-card spread for the month of March. The first card representing past issues, past energies which may be relevant and weaving their way into this month, and for that you guys have the Knave or the Page of Coins, otherwise known as the Page of Pentacles, reversed. In the second card there, representing current issues, the current situation this month, the 5 of Swords. In the position of possible obstacles showing up this month, you guys have the 6 of Swords. In the position of possible helpful tools this month, the 8 of Coins, otherwise known as 8 of Pentacles. And the outcome card is the 9 of Coins for you guys, or the 9 of Pentacles. The final card there, sort of half lying down, that card represents the overall theme for the month. And I'll be reading about that card towards the end of the reading after going through the tarot cards. And that card is called Bat Island, which represents intuition. So we'll see if that all ties in. Something I immediately noticed, and you may see if you're actually visually watching this reading, is that your reading is all coins, or pentacles, all and swords. So interesting, because there seems to be issues around, so pentacles, coins being issues, financial issues, money, work, employment, career, stable, tangible things, practical matters. And then you've got swords, which are moving to your head, matters of the head, thinking, beliefs, ideas, words, communication. So I just want us to keep that in mind. Maybe some sort of struggle with some work issue or financial issue, and ideas and thoughts about that getting in the way. So we start off with the past energy, and you guys have the Knave of Coins reversed. So if he was upright, this Knave of Coins, otherwise called the Page of Pentacles, pages are quite young, youthful energy, and pages or knaves are usually messages of some sort. And this is the Pentacle, the Coins energy, so again something really practical. Typically, if this was upright, it might be a financial opportunity or message of that coming in, some sort of work coming in. It's a card about study, reflection, concentration, applying something, learning something, scholarship, the love of learning, collecting information. And typically, like I said, good news, good messages coming in about work, about money, or something you've been wanting support with, or you've been developing your ideas in something and being quite in a state of scholarship, learning in that youthful kind of way. When you start out learning something new that you're really joyous and fascinated about, you just dive right in. This card is reversed though, so it suggests that whatever that is that may have been new and trying to come into your life, some new opportunity financially or work or study, has not worked out, and there's been a lack of progress in that area, or a lack of planning. Perhaps there wasn't enough foresight and long-term planning on that, and the focus was just too short-term. And in that sense, if there's a lack of sort of planning and insight, perhaps you're a bit out of touch with yourself and with your intuition in some way. This card upside down represents something unpredictable, and perhaps you've actually got bad news or less than good news about something to do with work, with money, with study, and you've also been caught up with the beliefs or ideas of other people more than what you wanted or what you hoped for. So there's almost like a stuckness for me in association with this card. Something good that was supposed to come in has not worked out, possibly because you've become a bit too entangled up in what other people think about a situation. You've perhaps been a bit impractical about something, and you haven't made progress on something as you had hoped, something that would have been practical and a stable kind of thing that would have built on your security in some way has not worked out. Some messages have not come through, or been wrong, or been upside down in some way, or you've got bad news about something in this area of your life. Moving on from that, we see with the second card there representing the current issues, the situation of the month, and that's the Five of Swords card. And this is a card of conflict. You know, it's a card of tension, of mixed feelings, of loss and defeat. It's a card a bit about deviousness and selfishness, and needing to pick your battles wisely. It's about sort of sometimes acting purely in your own interests, winning a battle, but kind of cutting down people in the process, and really nobody wins in that instance. This is a card about the swords being thoughts and ideas and words, communication. Looks like there's been some difficulty in communicating your ideas to other people. There's been some frivolous and pointless battles that have probably been cowardly in some way. Either you've been cowardly, or someone's been quite cowardly towards you in not being perhaps upfront and honest and being able to talk through things properly. Someone here has had ideas in their head and done some sort of what we would call sort of cognitive distortions about things, and come up with ideas in their head, been mind reading other people's thinking. Oh, I know what they're thinking, I know what they're thinking, without actually checking them out. There is a sense of conquering something here, but like I said, at the cost of something that could have otherwise been good, and really nobody comes out on top. There's in this kind of battle here, nobody has won, and there's still a lot of tension going on, and perhaps feelings of inadequacy and humiliation, really mixed feelings with whatever conflict and is going on here, which makes sense to me given that something in the past has not worked out. There's been sort of a lack of progress and a stunting of something with that reversed Knave of Coins, and here we are seeing you this month feeling a bit conflicted about something, and maybe you have forced your way in something, but it's not really a good idea or a good outcome. Moving on from that into the third card there, representing possible obstacles that may show up this month. You guys have the Six of Swords. So this card is about moving away from troubled times. A transition that's had to happen. There's sort of a regret that comes along with it, and you've had to having to leave a situation. Or needing to take a break, needing to move away from something. This card is suggesting that you essentially do need to pack up those ideas in your head and take them somewhere else to calmer waters, and move away from a difficult time. I think you need to choose to do that. Don't wait for things to get worse, for more conflict and tension and more mixed up things to happen. This card is saying that if you don't do this, there's going to be obstacles showing up. And sometimes we have to start over. We've just got to concede defeat, or we've just got to go, you know what? I've tried everything here. Do I really want this level of tension and stress in my life? If the answer is no, you need to pack up your stuff and move on. And that will lighten the load a lot, I think, mentally and psychologically. You need to concede defeat, or that nothing has really worked out as you had hoped. And you're going to need to make some sort of transition or moving away from, and really reflect on I think this is encouraging to really reflect on your thoughts and ideas here, and what's been going on in your head, and what's been obstructing perhaps your feelings about something. Interesting that card is there saying unless you move away from something, I don't think much is going to change, because then with the card next to it in the position of helpful tools that may be of use this month, you have the 8 of Coins or the 8 of Pentacles. So here we are back to the Pentacles. This card is about sort of being in a state of apprenticeship and learning new things, or mastering something, toiling away in the back room on something. It's again another card about sort of education, planning, skilling up. It's about being employed and having ambition, but having to master techniques to move up a level, and having to put in the hard work to learn something new, and the way to move forward and rise up in your life, certainly materially or in regards to your stability, is through hard work, and that persistence and hard work and determination will pay off, even though it might be repetitive and boring at times. If you've had to go back to the beginning and relearn something, or you've just got to keep going with something, this is a reminder card for you to stay on a path that is going well, even though it may be monotonous and repetitive and a bit boring and methodical. There's sort of a sense of routine about this card, and you perhaps feel a bit stuck, but it's saying don't give up. So you need to move away from something, and if you don't, you're going to stay in a state of conflict. But then maybe just be a bit humble. I think this card is saying, be humble, go back to basics. Just focus on building that foundation again and being really consistent. Maybe just retreat to yourself and toil away at what you know you can do, because you're building a good foundation, and your determination coupled with sort of patience is going to get you there in the end. And on that note, speaking of the end, with the outcome card there being the 9 of Coins or the 9 of Pentacles, that is a card of long-term planning, and sort of now being in a state of rest almost, and or taking in and relaxing all the things that you have accumulated, because the outcome is this card of material satisfaction and enjoying the fruits of your labour and being quite comfortable in them. Being quite abundant, having accomplished things. It's a card about honours and having a good sense of self-worth and stability and security now. And you've managed to weather a storm, you've been able to grow and build things, and now you can kind of just relax a little bit, loosen up a little bit, because that discipline, that sacrifice, that hard work that you've put in, the learning from your mistakes, which I think is related to the first half of this reading, has paid off. And now you're seeing things materialise. It's about finishing goals that you've already set, that you're already halfway on, because they're going to come to fruition now, and you're sort of celebrating the end of the hard work that you've put in, or the choices you have made that now have moved you into a much more stable, calm state, giving you a sense of abundance and security and stability in whatever issue this is. So I think this is really positive, in that you've started with this kind of really gnarly energy coming in the past, and something not working out, and not progressing, and having too short-term focus, being out of touch with your intuition on an issue of practical matters. Now you come through the month and something really shifts here. You move away from conflict, you make better choices, you can just get back to the hard work, and boom, there's your outcome, a really positive outcome. Okay, now I'm going to read from this book called the Dreamtime Reading Cards. Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual belief system. And I use these cards as like oracle cards. And the card that came out for you guys representing, like I said at the beginning, the overall theme for the month is called Bat Island, which is about intuition. Interesting, given some of this reading, and I think there's almost been a lack of intuition or a struggle with that. Being cut off, being too much in your head here, and too fixated perhaps on physical matters. perhaps this is a reminder to get back in touch with your intuition. So I'm just going to read now from the book. So Bat Island, as it is known by the Bellingen locals, is actually a large colony of flying foxes which inhabits a small island on the north side of the Bellinger River. The flying fox is a very large bat with a fox-like face. It spends its days hanging upside down, resting in trees, and then at dusk its colonies come alive with loud calls and cries as the flying foxes take flight through the darkening sky on their search for food. The flying fox does not have the normal sonar of most bats, but uses its eyes to search for food. It is most active in the night time when it uses all its senses. It takes flight and travels vast distances in its quest for ripe fruit to feast on. Bat Island teaches you to trust your own feelings at this time, even if your rational mind is telling you something different. Isn't that interesting with those swords cards there? Your rational mind is saying, do this, but actually you need to be tapping into something far deeper. If you are receiving very clear messages, Bat Island is here to offer support with your newfound gifts of insight and knowing. The Flying Fox's message is to use your senses, trust your instincts, and listen to the whispers of spirit. Bat Island and the Flying Fox may also symbolize an understanding of your own psychic abilities. You may find that you have the ability to hear, feel, or see what others don't. Bat Island reminds you you are not alone with these abilities, even though they may feel strange and unnatural. You are gifted, and there are others who also carry these gifts. Use your intuition at this time and trust that all is unfolding as it should be. Interesting. Interesting that all is unfolding. So even when things don't work out, perhaps it's meant to be that way. To give you a lesson, to provide different opportunities, to change tack, to get back on the path, to go with the flow, to trust the universe, to trust yourself. So on that note, Scorpios, thank you so much for watching and listening to this reading. I'm really grateful that you've given it your time and attention. Like I said, it may or may not resonate with you. Take what you like and leave the rest. Or check your moon sign, your rising sign. But otherwise, I hope March comes good for you guys, and I hope to see you all back in April. Bye.